Dakota. I have on business. I haven't spent a whole lot of time there, but the whole Dakota Range, north and south, the most beautiful country you'd ever want to visit. I'm telling you.
Haven't been there yet. Got to get over there though. So Susan, when you and I talked a couple weeks ago, you were telling me that you guys are still mainly on the plane, if you will. you're staying in your tasting room, that you're not doing outside distribution at this point. Is that still where you guys are at?
Pretty much. I've actually been talking to a couple of people here locally. I talked to a distributor. Not sure I'm going to go that route quite yet, just because they would be making more money off of a bottle than I would by the time they take their cuts. So, but I've also been talking to a couple of restaurants in the area about getting there. So hopefully that'll get that going within the next week. So that'll be good.
That'll be real good. Are you guys are you moving your product out pretty quick as it goes into the bottles? I see a lot of the up and comers that are
going. Yeah, we're selling. It's improving every month. We've got starting this week. We've got a deal going with three of the breweries in town, another winery, and the distillery, where we're doing kind of one of these passport tours where they come in and get a stamp at each one of the locations, and then the top 25 or fastest 25 to finish it win prizes.
Neat.
So, and then everybody that finishes it gets some stuff. So it should be kind of fun.
So it's basically like a pub crawl.
Pretty much, yeah.
With
but
prizes.
It doesn't have to all be done on the same day.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good, because I can see where that would be really difficult after a while.
Yeah. No, it doesn't have to be done. And some of I'm only open Thursday through Sunday. Some of the guys are closed Sundays and open Mondays and stuff. So, it kind of works out well that way, that the hours are different for all of us. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And then I've got a radio spot coming out where it's kind of a mixer where they'll sign up online and to get their name into drawing, and win a dinner and some mead over the next once a month for the next 3 months. They're doing that, and then they get to come in with the radio personality stuff. So that should actually get a lot of at least exposure.
Yeah.
When you started the meadery, Susan, you're going from making mead at home, small batches, to fairly large batches, I would assume, at the meadery. Was the transition from small to large a difficult one, or is it pretty easy to ramp up the recipe? And
yeah, the recipe ramping up isn't a problem at all. Learning the bigger equipment, figuring out how to move things around, because you can't just pick up 1,300 pounds of honey
right.
and dump it in. Things like that. Because each batch, we put 1,300 pounds into a batch of our honey at a time. So, we just buying more pumps, learning how the pumps work. That was a little more of a challenge to me. It was like, I hook up what, where? But on the other hand, that side is more my husband. He's very good. He's an electrical engineer, so he does all of my getting my equipment going and keeping it going and that kind of thing. So we kind of match each other well there.
I'm a relatively new mead maker myself, and of course I sit here taking notes during the show. But between Vicki and AJ and our Ask Oscar session. Another question I've got for you about your meadery, because one thing that I'm very concerned about is temperature, and I've learned so much listening to AJ and Vicki and Pete Oscar about temperature control and that kind of thing. How do you control temperatures in a vat that large?
We have all of our tanks are glycol jacketed, so we have a big glycol chiller that my husband built all the pipes and stuff around to hook up to them. and then we had the plumber come in and sign off on all that. But it's all hooked up, so we have quick disconnects from the tanks to the glycol line, and so whichever tank we're using, we just hook it on there and keep it. I mean, it's pretty easy. And then I can actually also chill down each batch before I filter, so we get some of it settling out, so I don't have quite as much gunk going through my filters. And so
interesting.
I was just wondering if you had a particular favorite yeast, or if you use the same yeast for all your batches.
I use the same one. I like the 71B Loveland, 1122B, 1122, yeah. 71B 1122, I think it is.
Yeah, that one seems to be pretty popular with the meaderies, from what I've been hearing.
Yeah, it works well. It's clean. It's
quick.
I really like it.
Quick is good when you're trying to get your bottles out the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. We're talking to Susan Root tonight from Prairie Rose Meadery in North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota. We'll take your calls. The number to call is 818-921-4680. And I'm expecting a call from Chris tonight. He's an avid fan
of course you are.
Cotton Live. And I know, Chris, you've probably got a burning question that you want to ask Susan Root, so feel free to call 818-921-4680. And Susan, the honey, you talked about using clover. Let's get it right. Clover blossom honey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right according to who?
Is that
right or correct?
like AJ's question about the yeast? Is that just a preference, or is that just what you can get available? And I mean, is honey that even that plentiful in North Dakota?
North Dakota is the number one honey producing state in the nation.
I'm moving,
so
guys.
yeah, it's easy enough to find honey here.
I'm moving.
I had
state.
when the apiary that I go to is about 20 miles from here. So at the time we went out there, he had clover honey and sunflower honey, and we tasted them. And the clover and we're not talking the clover honey that you buy out of the little Subi teddy bears, because that's been heated and stripped of half of its flavor and everything. When you're getting fresh North Dakota clover honey, raw honey, it's just so light and spicy and a little bit of esters in there, and I just find it really, really nice. And yeah, I really like this honey for making mead.
Honey, could you get the suitcases out of the closet and start packing, moving to North Dakota?
Yeah, and it just complements the esters that come off the yeast, and I really like it. We are going to try and find some other honeys, around the state and play with them. So we'll have some different traditional honeys. There's traditional meads, but for the most part, I think this will be our base honey.
Wow. Clover, we'll have to remember that. Clover blossom honey. I wonder, can I buy some from you? How do I get clover?
By the barrel? I think it would probably be prohibitive.
You could come visit me.
Yeah.
Come visit me. That's one of the things I get a lot of is clover honey.
Oh, my God. I'm sitting here drooling. I'm telling you. And we do have a caller, and I know who this is. I recognize the number. Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
The redneck representative has arrived.
Yeah, Chris is our groupie, Susan. He calls in every week.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I missed the first part of the show tonight. I got turned on just as you were saying something about me calling in.
We're talking to Susan Root from Prairie Rose Meadery in Fargo, North Dakota. Chris, have you got a question for her?
Well, I would like to hear her take on her nutrients, how she handles it. She may have said something. Like I said, I missed the first part of the program.
I usually do staggered nutrients with Fermaid K and diammonium phosphate, and then I use the Go Firm up front to rehydrate the yeast. That's pretty much all I use.
Yep. Okay. Well, I've been moving toward the Fermaid K only, and here recently been trying some of the Fermaid O, and it's been working really well. Trying to get away from the diammonium phosphate, and I'd like to hear what other people have been doing.
How has that been working for you?
It's been really good so far. I've always been able to taste the diammonium phosphate. Other people can't. I seem to be able to pick up on it for some reason, so another one of my quirks, I guess. But I had heard that Michael Fairbrother had gotten away from using diammonium phosphate as well, and he was actually the one that I had talked to on the phone one day, and he gave me an idea to try it. So basically, I just used the Go Firm up front to rehydrate the yeast, and then used only Fermaid K, and it worked really well. I didn't have any problems at all, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Okay.
Up until recently, I started trying the Fermaid O, but it takes massive doses of it because it's lower in the nitrogen content.
Okay.
But I really like going the Fermaid K route. It's interesting to hear what other people are doing. I know that I believe Ken Schramm is still doing the basic diammonium phosphate and Fermaid K as well. So,
and it works pretty well for what
whatever works for you.
Yes, that's it. It's been working for me, so I haven't even tried switching. I have heard other. I want to say, I knew Michael switched. I want to say Sergio does something different too.
I think he did.
I don't think he uses it. So but like I said, I know the routine of this one, and I know what it does, and I know the amounts to put in, and rather than having to play.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, you own a meadery. Don't be listening to me.
Yeah, I think everybody does things just slightly different, and what works in their system is what they're used to, and if it's working for them, that's the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I'm a firm believer also that there's always room for improvement. So I'm always willing to try new things and see if it works, but I'll probably do that in smaller batches.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do that in the giant one and have it go sideways on you. That would kind of suck.
Yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah.
Well, I have weird taste buds also because there's things that other people can detect that I can't, and then there's things I detect that other people don't see a problem with. So that's the good thing about being
common, though. I mean, I can detect small or certain flavors. Are like, oh, that's just disgusting, and nobody else will get it. So I perfectly understand that.
Yeah, well, that's the good thing about being a home mead maker too. You can make what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a question. Doug Fensky in the Netherlands got up at 3:00 in the morning to tune into the show here tonight.
Again?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And he's listening intently. I know Doug's been working on this yan and nan and flan and all this chemical stuff. He's a pretty experienced mead maker too, wine maker for 25, 30 years, I guess. And he's asking. Now he's laughing. How much do you know how to add? He's talking about this Fermaid K having DAP in it as well. That's something I didn't know.
Right. I calculated initially, and I don't even have it here. It was a few months ago now. I don't have it in front of me, but yeah, I calculated the amount of yan, I believe it is, initially, of how much from each of those, and kind of went by what the manufacturers recommend versus making sure I had enough of the yen in there. I believe it's the yen.